Imagine owning a company so powerful that presidents used your products. CEOs depended on them. Celebrities carried them everywhere, and millions of people believed nothing could replace them. In the mid-2000s, BlackBerry wasn't just a smartphone company. It was the smartphone company. Owning a BlackBerry meant you were important, successful, connected. The company dominated the business world and seemed unstoppable. Then, within just a few years, it all came crashing down. Today, most people under 20 have never even touched a BlackBerry. So, how did the king of smartphones lose everything? This is the rise and fall of BlackBerry. The story begins in Canada. In 1984, two engineering students founded a company called Research in Motion, better known as RIM. At first, the company wasn't focused on smartphones. Instead, it specialized in wireless communication technology. The internet was growing rapidly. Businesses were becoming increasingly connected, and people wanted faster ways to communicate. RIM saw an opportunity. In 1999, the company launched a device that would change everything: BlackBerry. Its biggest innovation wasn't the keyboard, it wasn't the design, it was mobile email. For the first time, professionals could receive and reply to emails from almost anywhere. Today, that sounds normal. Back then, it felt revolutionary. Executives loved it, governments trusted it, corporations adopted it. Soon, BlackBerry devices became essential tools for business. The company had created something people didn't just want, they needed it. As BlackBerry expanded, it introduced another game-changing feature: BlackBerry Messenger, better known as BBM, long before WhatsApp, long before Telegram, long before iMessage. There was BBM. Messages were instant, reliable, and most importantly, free. Users became obsessed. People exchanged BBM PINs instead of phone numbers. Friendships formed through BBM. Relationships started through BBM. Entire communities lived on BBM. For millions of users around the world, BlackBerry wasn't just a phone, it was a lifestyle. By the mid-2000s, BlackBerry controlled a huge portion of the smartphone market. Its future looked secure. Its leadership looked untouchable. But history was about to change. January 9th, 2007. At the time, BlackBerry was one of the most powerful technology companies in the world. Millions of people depended on its devices. Its future looked secure. Then a man walked onto a stage in California, holding a device that would change everything. His name was Steve Jobs, and in just a few minutes, he introduced the first iPhone. The audience was stunned. A phone, an iPod, an internet communicator, all in one device. The presentation would become one of the most important moments in technology history. But here's the surprising part. BlackBerry wasn't worried. In fact, company executives reportedly believed the iPhone would struggle. The device didn't have a physical keyboard. Its battery life seemed questionable, and it was expensive. To BlackBerry, the iPhone looked like a consumer toy, not a serious business tool. They believed customers would continue choosing keyboards over touchscreens. They believed their position was safe. They were wrong. Very wrong. Consumers loved the touchscreen. Developers embraced the App Store. And smartphones began transforming from productivity tools into digital lifestyles. The world was changing. BlackBerry didn't change with it. BlackBerry's biggest problem wasn't technology. It was mindset. The company became obsessed with protecting what had already made it successful: physical keyboards, business users, email, security. Meanwhile, Apple and Android were creating something far bigger: an ecosystem, apps, music, games, navigation, social media. The smartphone was no longer just a communication device. It was becoming the center of people's digital lives. But BlackBerry kept focusing on the old world. Instead of leading the future, it defended the past. The company reacted slowly. Products arrived late, software felt outdated, competitors moved faster. Every year, the gap became larger, and by the time BlackBerry fully understood what was happening, the market had already moved on. What happened next was brutal. Market share disappeared, sales dropped, customers switched to iPhones and Android devices. Developers abandoned the platform. Even loyal BlackBerry users began leaving. The company tried everything: new devices, new operating systems, new strategies. But none of it worked. The smartphone industry had fundamentally changed, and BlackBerry was no longer leading it. The company that once dominated the market had become irrelevant. A king without a kingdom. One of the most powerful brands in technology had fallen. Today, BlackBerry still exists, but not as the smartphone giant it once was. Instead, it focuses on software and cybersecurity. Its phone empire is gone. Yet BlackBerry's story remains one of the most important lessons in business history. Success can be dangerous. When companies become too comfortable, they stop seeing change. They defend the past instead of building the future. And in technology, standing still is often the fastest way to fall behind. BlackBerry didn't lose because it lacked talent. It didn't lose because it lacked resources. It lost because it underestimated how quickly the world could change. And that's a lesson every technology company should remember today, especially in the age of artificial intelligence. Because somewhere right now, another company may be making the same mistake. Maybe it's a startup. Maybe it's a giant tech company. Maybe it's a company we all believe is untouchable, just like BlackBerry once was. If you enjoyed this documentary, subscribe to Leap Tech Tips for more stories about technology, innovation, business, and the future. And let me know in the comments, could BlackBerry have beaten Apple if it had reacted sooner? Or was the iPhone simply unstoppable?